This is incredible. Who here believes that a 12-year-old middle school student can be a leader?
Woo!
I certainly can. My name is Philip Koenig. I'm not an educator. I'm not a researcher. But I'm a student. I'm a student who's recognized an issue and attempted to solve it. And now it is that exact solution that I have become incredibly passionate about. That solution is called Leading Miami. In 2009, I founded and started a nonprofit organization dedicated and devoted to teaching leadership skills to Miami-Dade middle school students. And for this evening, I'm here to tell you my story as to how it began and the progress that we made in the past 3 years. It all started in high school. When my dad, he'd always send me articles and clips from leadership gurus such as Tom Peters, John Maxwell, Simon Sinek. And I became absolutely fascinated with what leadership could do for people. You see, leadership has the ability to empower people, to help them turn a simple vision into a reality. It can bring you from point A to point B. Leadership can be an incredibly powerful tool if used in the right way. I recognize that passion. Back then in high school, I had this vague inkling that I wanted to make a difference. I had no clue how, but I simply wanted to make a difference in my community. At the same time, I was very passionate about leadership. So I thought to myself, why don't I teach students what leadership is, and at the same time, I'd be able to impact my community. And that's when I began to turn this vision, this simple vision that I had, and turn it into a reality. On a late weekday evening at, let's say, around 3 or so in the morning, I can vividly remember, I began plastering my bedroom walls with Post-it charts, covered with notes, ideas, scribbles, brainstorms. Anything that was up here, I put on paper. And after a week or so, I developed a 10-week curriculum. A 10-week curriculum that would teach leadership skills to students in the most dynamic, engaging way possible. This curriculum was divided into 5 components, which I saw as the most important, crucial leadership skills. The first component was self-actualization. A leader needs to understand what they are good at, where their strengths and their weaknesses lie, and how to tap into that potential. Second, team management. You are no one, and a leader is no one without their people. And they have to understand that and realize that. So we teach students how to work with others towards a common goal. Third, youth professional development. A leader needs to understand, at least to know and understand how to communicate, how to present one's own views and beliefs, and share them effectively. Fourth, civic engagement. A leader's primary responsibility is to serve others. And so we teach students by putting them in the community and helping others what civic engagement means and what service means. And last, and this is by any doubt my favorite component of the curriculum, ignite your passion, where they use all the tools and the skills that they've learned in a matter of around 8 weeks, and they implement them in a small-scale project. So now I developed this curriculum. I began to design a logo, a mission statement, and a vision statement, a plan of purpose and a strategic plan. And I developed this organization, Leading Miami. I brought on board a friend of mine, and together we took the first step to make this vision a reality. So we emailed 26 principals in Miami-Dade middle schools with a generic email that basically said, we want to teach your students leadership skills. Would you like to know how many principals responded? 0. It was a hit to our ego. And we thought, evidently, this email thing, it isn't working out. So instead, we decided to go to the schools themselves. Our first school, South Miami, after school, when I left high school, took my book bag at 3:30, left to go to South Miami. I marched into the office and I said, I'd like to meet with someone, and I'm not leaving until I've met with someone. And so we met with the guidance counselor after an hour or so. We presented our plan of purpose, a simple presentation as to what we wanted to accomplish within the school. We showed her the curriculum, and we bluntly asked her, "Can we teach your students what leadership is?" She agreed. And after a week or so, I found myself with my partner standing in front of 10 football players, each who, let's say, had around 30, 40 pounds on me. I'd like to tell you, back then, I was about 5'5". I had a thick British accent because I just moved here from London. I was a lot stockier, and I found myself standing in front of them. And I could see from the look on their faces, what on earth are you doing here? I felt that way. So, weeks went by, and we started to see that these students became engaged. They were participating with what we were teaching them. The guidance counselor came to us and encouraged us to continue working for another semester. Evidently, we were doing something right. So, we taught the curriculum to these students, and we then decided to expand. We went through the same process. We emailed a few principals, no response. We went to the school themselves, and we presented ourselves, our plan of purpose, and what we wanted to accomplish. In a matter of a month, I found myself in 4 additional schools teaching workshops. By the end of my junior year of high school, I had taught 126 workshops along with my partner. Every single one of those workshops were incredible. It was a story in itself, and I learned an incredible amount, not only about myself, but about the students that I was working with. Back then, earlier now in my speech, I noted that the Ignite Your Passion was my favorite workshop by far, or component of the workshops. Let me tell you why. You see, the Ignite Your Passion workshop requires our students to come up with something small. You see, because I think leadership, it's not about changing the world. It can be something done on a small scale. So, at one of our schools, let me tell you a story. At one of our schools, due to budget cuts, the after-school art program, it wasn't being offered anymore. Our 30 students, they recognized that as a problem. This program that they were previously offering had a large amount of attendance, 60 students every day that would go to this program. It was very popular. And since it was gone, the students weren't able to attend it. So the class collectively said, we're going to solve that. So they organized themselves into 3 groups. One group, they were responsible for the logistics, making sure that this program would become a reality. The second group, they were responsible for the marketing and the press and the public relations. They went from hallway to hallway, classroom to classroom, student to student, to inform them of this program that was being offered. And then the third group, they were responsible for making sure that the art program was being taught. They developed a curriculum. These students, they were incredibly passionate about art, and they had techniques and art knowledge that most of the other students didn't have. So, within a matter of 2 weeks, these students were running a fully functioning art program every day after school. I was absolutely amazed by this. This wasn't run by teachers, guidance counselors, parents, or professors. No. This was run by 12-year-old middle school students. 12-year-olds. Couldn't believe it. At one of our other schools, the school wasn't conducting enough recycling initiatives. The students saw that as a problem. The same thing happened. They organized themselves into groups. And after a week or so, they came up with an idea. Let's host a competition that would see which homeroom can collect the most amount of recycling materials. Seems like a small idea, and it is. But within a matter of 2 weeks, these homerooms, all run by this group of students, were able to collect each 15 to 20 trash bags filled with recyclable materials. Now again, this doesn't seem like much, but it does to me. You know why? Because this was all done by students. Every workshop that I taught, I learned something new. And I began to realize that the reason this was so effective was because students were engaged. They felt that they were part of the solution. They thought that they were making an impact. a teacher, a professor who was teaching these students came to me and said, I can't even get my students to read a paragraph during class. But they're meeting outside of school hours to make sure that this art program was running well. Wow, boy, was that eye-opening. So evidently, we had something going here. We've made tremendous progress in the 3 years that we've been working. From seeing a simple idea on a notepad develop into something that tangibly impacts the people around us is incredible. From seeing one mentor grow to 25 mentors, and then grow to 50 mentors for this upcoming semester, and they left one of the workshops about an hour ago, is incredible. And we continue to grow. By 2014, we will have impacted 1,200 students, held over 1,000 workshops, and expanded to Philadelphia. To me, that is incredible. And I've said this again because I can't believe it. You see, while I was preparing for my TED Talk, I realized something. All the skills that I needed to make sure that this program ran and this nonprofit was developing were all the skills that we were teaching our students. Let me walk you through it. First, self-actualization. I needed to understand my potential, what I was good at and what I was bad at. I surely wasn't going to teach students what engineering was. I have no clue on earth what that is. But I understood where my potential lies. Second, team management. I would be nowhere, and let me repeat that again, nowhere if it weren't for the people that helped me on the way. They were the ones that made sure that leading Miami would flourish, and they were as passionate as I was. I needed to ensure that they were on the same mindset that I was, and that we were all working towards a common goal. Third, youth professional development. I had to communicate what I was passionate about, share my beliefs and what I wanted to accomplish with the people that I work with. Fourth, civic engagement. It says in the name, we were in the community, serving others, making sure that their lives were improving. And last, ignite your passion. I ignited my passion. I was passionate about leadership, and I made sure that I was doing something with that passion, other than just sit on it. I learned all these skills at the age of, I didn't even learn them yet. They were open to me at the age of 15, 16. Just imagine now that we're teaching 12-year-olds what to do with these skills, what they can accomplish when they're older. Whether it is leadership that you're passionate about, whatever it may be, we all have different passions. Just go for it. You'd be surprised with what you could accomplish. Thank you very much.